everybody. Your boy Viper is in the building. So, what's up, people? This your boy Viper, the man about tech, and we are live here on Smartphone Conversations with my boy Jay Will. So let me bring in Jay Will, and we can get this party started right now.
Oh, I hope you didn't miss that intro, folks. What is up, folks?
Like, where are we?
Oh, man. Oh, boy. Yeah, this is going to be fun. This is going to be fun. So welcome, everybody, to part 8. This will be a good one for you. Got 2 people on, obviously. I know you know who they are, but I love to get a broad perspective on things when we have a discussion here on smartphoneconversations.com. So part 8 in the series, folks, we are moving right along. Let me tell you, this thing is rolling. So we're already at part 8. And today we're going to be talking about how to boost your presence or how to get yourself well known even without YouTube. And then people will kind of circle back around to YouTube because that could be your main platform for revenue or exposure or live streams or videos, whatever it may be. So I reached out to 3 people. One person was kind of busy, but I got 2 people on here for us today that have their own perspective on how they've grown their channels on YouTube using other sources. And I wanted these people because I know that it's possible. Some people feel like you can only grow through YouTube if you're doing YouTube, and it just has to stay that way. But today we're going to tackle that right there and show you that there's other ways to do so. So first up, my man Trent is here. If you don't know Trent, well, of course you do. So we got Trent up top, and we got my man Viper here to join us tonight. Everybody say hello to this crew right here. So what we're going to do is, the chat's moving kind of fast. All right, I'm gonna move it, open a different window up here. Hey, everybody that's in the stream, man. We'll say hello to a few people in the stream, and we're gonna get this ball rolling because why not have a good conversation like this with some people that can actually give you some good, honest feedback, and honesty is what we do here. So you got Barry, Gigi, oh man, what's going on? Wifey's in the house. Shay is here. T is here. What's going on, T? Bradley, 2 phones. I see you. Let me scroll back up. GG is here. I think LaShawn is here. What's going on? I see you guys. The Relaxing Relaxer. Oh, what about that name? The Relaxing Relaxer. What a name. Let's all get relaxed. Let me go get my shades real quick so I can join Vibe. Get my shades so I can join Vibe. So people will be trickling in for sure. And we're going to get this ball rolling. So if you haven't been following along, both of these gentlemen here, Viper has a live stream channel, but we're going to talk to you guys today. And this video isn't just for new people. These live streams are not just for new people. They're for people out there who just need to grow. You can never be too far along on your YouTube career and not be willing to grow. And so that's what this stream is here for. So Tech Valor, I see you. What's going on? Jamal, you guys coming in. What's going on? I see you. So today we'll be talking to Trent, and we're going to talk to Viper about, how they've noticed a growth in their YouTube channel by using Tech King Mike. What's going on? I see you in here.
Oh, where'd he go?
Did he freeze?
Where'd he go? Come on, man. Oh, come on, Jay Will. Seriously? Oh, brah. Oh, man. Trent, you out of order, Trent. You out of order, bro. You out of order.
Yo, look at his face. Screenshot that.
I know. My man froze, bro. Oh, bro. Oh, man. Well, what happened was...
That's going to be a... Yeah, you see his face?
Yes.
It's frozen.
What had happened was Jay Will was about to tell us about how we're going to talk about ways that you can grow outside of YouTube, because for whatever reason, well, I know the reason, but a lot of creators, especially newer creators, they romanticize YouTube. Like YouTube is it. And they don't think about the whole world that exists outside of YouTube. So we are here tonight to talk about the world that exists outside of YouTube, because there's a lot of opportunities outside of YouTube that creators just don't care to take advantage of, or they don't know about, or for whatever reason they're hesitant to like dip their toe into. But there's a big world outside of YouTube, and that's why me and Trenton were invited, and that's why we're here. Now, my question is, can he get back into a stream? That's my question. I don't understand this stuff. I see we got the light-skinned warrior in the building. TJ, what's up, bro? What's up? Say hello, TJ. Say hello to the people. Oh, he can't hear me. Okay.
he is being extra right now.
He can't hear me. It's all good. It's all good. But yeah. I mean, do we like do this without him, or I don't know. I don't know. I mean, this is something I talk about almost on a weekly basis now, so I can definitely flow. But I don't know, Trent. You think? Oh, there he is. All right.
Awkward, right?
Awkward. Very awkward.
What the heck is going on? Oh, man, I appreciate y'all holding it down. I had my phone open. I said, "What the heck is going on? How they gonna boot me off my own stream,
bro? You were froze up.
It was awkward. I looked. I was like, I was talking. You would never guess. Team Apple, close your ears because my Mac Mini M1 completely shut off.
Oh no! Oh man,
it just shut off. I was like, "Yo, son, what is going on, B?"
That's rough. That's rough.
All right, I still got love for you, Team Apple. This M1, that's the second time it's done something crazy, but but it's only twice in this whole time I've had it. So, wow. And I tried to get back into the studio, and the studio like locked me out and told me I had to join as a member. I was like, "What the heck is going on?" But you know what though? Y'all held it down, boy. I was like looking at y'all, and I said, "Look at my boys, they holding it together for me." I don't know what I was saying before I got booted out of my own stream. I really don't know what was happening.
You were telling us what we're going to be talking about tonight. That's what you were telling.
Froze up. It froze up when I left.
Yeah, you froze up.
Yeah, at least it wasn't my internet this time. It was the M1 just shut off. B. It was out.
That's rough, bro. That's rough.
It was out.
But you're back in the building though.
I got my Kind bar, and we finna keep it moving. It's not sponsored by Kind bar.
Your Kind bar.
Yeah, Kind, bro. You don't know about those Kind bars? Health.
No, I know about those.
Oh,
that's what I
Kind bars. I love Kind bars. So today, we are going to, man, I gotta tell you, the challenges I've had with this series, it's been crazy, man. Poor internet, get the internet fixed. I move on. So today we have Vipe, and we have, and I'm glad the stream kept going at least. I'm surprised the stream kept going, to be honest. With me out of it. I don't know how that's possible, but it is what it is. So we are going to kick this thing off, man. Today we're going to talk to people, whether you're new or old on YouTube. We're going to be talking to you about ways to get the most exposure on yourself and trickle that back to YouTube to gain your presence, your revenue. There's so many things that go into that. So let's get the round table going here, man. And one of you guys can chime in first if you want, whichever one to chime in first. But I don't use a lot of different platforms to draw attention to myself. I used to, but since I don't use Facebook, the most I've done is what is it called? It used to be Periscope. Remember Periscope?
Uh-huh.
I used to use that. Just off the rip, I guess I'll start with you, Trent. We'll start that way. What have you done to get exposure to yourself and to move that attention back to, like, what other platforms or what have you done to grab people's attention and move it back to YouTube?
To a certain degree, it's mostly been Twitter. So I started off on YouTube, and YouTube was like my only platform. So like I only uploaded on YouTube, and if I were to talk anything about tech, it was only on YouTube. Then I joined Twitter, I think around 2017, 2018 time frame. And it was like I was bringing the same, opinions, the same, like talking points to Twitter or whatnot. And then Twitter was kind of interesting because it kind of seemed like the natural progression, because I would see people on Twitter, they'd talk about stuff, and then they would kind of like redirect people to their channels. So it gave me a way to like talk about stuff on Twitter, which was like a different platform, but also kind of find a way to bring people to YouTube via hashtags, or let's say there was like a topic, and then I would either make a video on that topic and then put it on YouTube. So that was kind of like the back and forth that I had between those two platforms. I did try Instagram, but honestly, I just don't have like the time for Instagram, as far as like Instagram doesn't pique my interest. Like I tried the whole IGTV thing, but for me, it crashed and burned. It really didn't do anything. And it seemed like the more platforms I tried to be on, the less time I had in between the platforms. So ultimately, my main two platforms are YouTube and Twitter. And I just focus on those because I'm good at those and I enjoy those. But everything else, I kind of just, I play around in Clubhouse, I play around in Twitter Spaces, but it's not exactly something that's leading everybody to my channel per se.
Yeah. And you spoke about before you jump in, you talked about the Instagram version of it. That was a flop, I would say. I don't think people really, right? What do you think about? I don't think people really got into that. But go ahead, Viper, and tell us how you've gotten people to get over to you from other platforms. Because I know you're doing something big right now, but I'll let you explain.
So here's the thing about your question. You questioned it. How are we getting people to YouTube? That ain't the goal, and that probably shouldn't be the goal because that people don't. Here's the thing: people do not like to move between platforms. If they're on Instagram, they want to be on Instagram. If they're on Twitter, they want to be on Twitter. If they're on TikTok, they want to be on TikTok. They don't want to go to another platform. So what we as creators need to be doing is putting content on these other platforms natively, and then organically building up our audience that way. You do it that way, then people get curious about you, and then if you have those other platforms linked in your bio or whatever, then naturally they'll want to learn more about you and see what you're doing on other platforms, so they'll check them out. But if you go on these other platforms with the goal of moving them over to YouTube, you're approaching it the wrong way. It doesn't work that way because people just don't like to move. So basically what I've done, I've gone out and I've been present on other platforms. So I've been on Twitter for 10 years. I've been on Twitter longer than I've been on YouTube. But obviously, once I started making YouTube content 3.5 years ago, I kind of switched my Twitter content to cover more tech and just more me organically and things like that. I also, as you know, I'm on Clubhouse every day. Clubhouse, I got on there back in the beginning of January, really took to the platform, and just me, just the way I am and my personality just kind of meshed naturally with Clubhouse. And so I kind of grew on there and things have kind of popped off from there. Instagram, I rarely use. I might throw a picture on there every other week or whatever. I don't know. TikTok, I'm on there, but I don't post there nearly enough because, like Trent said, when you try to stretch yourself out too thin, it doesn't work. So I just mainly focus on YouTube, Twitter, and Clubhouse, and those are my main platforms. But so we're talking about how to raise awareness for your brand and opportunities outside of YouTube. And like I was telling you guys earlier, like I was talking about earlier, for whatever reason, creators romanticize YouTube because I think they feel like YouTube is the platform that is paying, like they have like an inbuilt system to pay creators through a YouTube AdSense. So creators want a piece of that, obviously. But these other platforms are starting to step up to the plate. Twitter just recently announced Super Follow. They announced ticketed spaces. So there's a couple of ways that creators can get monetized on Twitter. Instagram is monetized creator. TikTok has a creator fund. Even Clubhouse has a way that you can donate to creators, and they also started their own creator fund, which I think they like chose 20 shows, whatever, to like give them funding. So all of these different platforms are now starting to come out with their own native inbuilt way of monetizing creators. So YouTube is not the only game in town anymore. Funny enough, I myself have a brand deal, but it's not on YouTube. My brand deal is on Clubhouse. So vidIQ reached out to me a couple of months ago, I think 4 months ago now, because I was in a lot of rooms about how to grow on YouTube and things like that. And they liked what I was saying to the creators because obviously I've been on here. I'm not no mega YouTuber, but I've been on the platform for 3.5 years and I learned a lot. So I like to share that knowledge with newer creators. vidIQ liked what I was saying. So they approached me. They'd be like, yo, Viper, would you like to host rooms for us, talking to people about how to grow on YouTube? I'm like, hell yeah, absolutely. I use vidIQ. I love their products. I love their services. So it was a natural match. So now I host rooms on a weekly basis for vidIQ and get paid for it. So again, we talk about brand deals and we only think about brand deals as far as YouTube go, but you can get brand deals on YouTube. You can get brand deals on Clubhouse, TikTok, Instagram. It's like when we talk about the creator economy, we are talking about every damn thing, man. It's all open. And the beautiful thing is that there is enough in the pot for all of us. You don't have to look at your fellow creators in competition because they're not. Actually, if you have a good relationship with your fellow creators, they can help you grow. But again, there is enough in the pot for all of us. And the opportunities that exist out there to make money outside of YouTube are boundless. The only thing that limits you really is your imagination as a creator. But we have opportunities that we've never had before. So Isn't the time.
Yeah. So, but in reality, though, there's not a lot of people out there that are saying, "Oh, I want to go be famous on Clubhouse," or "I want to go be famous on Twitter." They're saying, "I want to be famous on YouTube." YouTube was the first place where people could actually get in there, and it's the safest way and easiest way. So that's why this one is titled, "What's a way to get visibility to YouTube?" And those other applications that you talk about definitely will draw people to your YouTube channel. But I don't think there's a lot of new people out there starting a YouTube channel, or even people who have been on it for a while. I can speak for myself. I'm not at a place where I'm saying, you know what, well, I'm going to go over to Twitch, because people have said this to me. Why don't you have a Twitch? Why don't you have a Clubhouse? And I'm thinking, for me, it's not about always getting a brand. If they happen, they happen. And I have some, but if it happens, I didn't go looking for it. Right. For me, I just got on YouTube and it happened. And that is what a lot of people think can happen. But if you're trying to start a YouTube channel, you have to be realistic in your goals. And this part right here is a way to get people to understand you don't only have to use YouTube to get your presence out there. So while it's great that you got a brand deal with them, realistically, how many people are going to do that? Starting out, brand new people can't do that. They're not going to be able to just jump out there and go over to Clubhouse, and they may have the same. You've seen it here on YouTube, and we see it every day. You have someone that is fantastic with talent, but no one knows who they are. So how can they get recognized? But like you just said a minute ago, they might need to latch on to another creator on YouTube to, get that somewhat of exposure. But even then, I got to quote Barry Johnson once again. He said, if it's trash, no one's going to watch. So you can have the best personality. You can have all these things going for yourself. But I don't think there's very many people that are wanting to start on other platforms. So
no.
And I'm not saying you're wrong, though. I'm just saying that.
I'm not saying that that's what they need to do. What I'm saying is that if you want to build up on YouTube and you're trying and you're not gaining that traction,
yes,
and it might behoove you to try other avenues.
I totally agree. That is why I brought you on here, because you reached out to other platforms. So when is the last time, Trent, you used to use Periscope, which, like Gigi said, equals Twitter. This stream right here is actually being posted on there as well. And even I don't use Periscope. You remember how popular Periscope used to be? It used to be like everybody jumped onto Periscope when it first hit to do a live stream. So earlier, Viper, you talked about super follow on Twitter. Mm-hmm. That's something that's new, you said, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's another, and everybody has Twitter. I've been on Twitter since 2009 or something like that, or 6. Yeah. So yeah, everybody has a Twitter. But Trent, when's the last time? I mean, I don't use Periscope or Twitter to stream unless I double click it on here for restream. But do you think Twitter or Periscope is a way to get people to recognize you on, as far as YouTube goes?
I would say yes and no. It all depends on how you go about it and how you really use the platform, because this is gonna sound a little bit cliche, but you have to learn the platform that whatever you're gonna go to. So like if you're gonna be on YouTube, you gotta learn YouTube. You gotta learn how YouTube works, and you gotta learn, the flow of that, right? Like basically to wrap that up in a bow. Same thing with Periscope and Twitter. You have to learn how to move on Twitter and what's the best way to go about stuff on Twitter. And then ultimately what you have to do is figure out how to take those two things and have those mesh together, where, you take the best from YouTube and the best from Twitter and you put those together. That way you can have that audience crossover, because you may have someone that only wants to watch it on Twitter, only wants to engage on Twitter, which is fine. But you may also have someone that is like you, that goes to YouTube and they go to Twitter. And by them finding you in Twitter, that kind of creates that whole relationship of, okay, now I want to go over and see their YouTube channel. Like if what they're showing me is this good on Twitter or this good on Periscope, then I really want to see what their YouTube channel looks like. So
how do y'all, I'm a new guy. I'm new to YouTube, Vibe. I'm new to YouTube, Trent. I watch both of y'all. Oh my gosh, I love what y'all do, son. How do I get started to make my YouTube channel? What do I do to get my channel to get the exposure? What do you tell them? What do y'all tell them?
create content.
I would say find something that you like and find a trend around what you like and make videos around that trend when you're first starting off, because you're already starting behind the 8 ball of not you're already starting behind the 8 ball, because even if you start off a brand new YouTube channel, even if you had all the equipment, even if you had all the tags, even if you had like the key to the city, one, no one's going to be able to find your video unless it is like a direct link. Because I've tried this before, like I've made like a whole new channel and I realized how much of a pain that is starting from scratch again. And then you have to, like I said, you have to cover trending stuff, and you just have to kind of get your videos built up. So like just straight up pull out the phone, record like 10 videos and just hit upload and just tag them to death. But just make sure that they're relatable. Like I wouldn't tell someone, hey, go start a YouTube channel, and today we're going to talk about flowers, and then tomorrow we're going to talk about cars, and then next day we're going to talk about the weather. Like that doesn't really work. Like, I mean, if you go back in the time machine, you have some YouTubers that probably did start off that way.
Yeah.
But today it's a completely different animal. Like you have to be almost somewhat strategic when you're starting off your YouTube channel and you say, hey, I want to grow. Hey, I want to get exposure. Now, if you're someone that wants to start a YouTube channel, you want to do it for fun, or you're just trying it out, or you literally do not care what happens, you're just doing it, then by all means do whatever. But if you're looking specifically for exposure, then you have to kind of go about it that way.
So Vibe, I'm the new guy, and I want to. You've gotten this. First of all, in order to get a brand deal, I don't have to say this, but it's not something that you can just go out and get. And I know you know this because you have one. You just can't go and get. But people who start YouTube channels feel like they're going to get the free review units right away when they see people, getting these tablets, phones, whatever the thing is. They feel like I can get this free like you. But a new guy is asking you, hey, Vibe, I want the exposure on my YouTube channel. I don't really want to do a whole bunch of things outside of YouTube, but what is the formula that I need to calculate to get people to see me on YouTube? And you kind of touched on this earlier, but what is the formula that I need to do in order to get my feet planted on YouTube? I review water bottles, and I'm doing good at it. I got 3,000 subscribers, but I want more. I want more exposure. How do I get this thing going? I'm just getting started, and I already have 3,000 subs in about a year's time. I just got monetized, but that's not enough. I'm only making $218 a month roughly. I need more exposure. How do I do that?
I mean, if you got 3,000 subs in it, you're already on the right track. But
maybe that's too high. Okay, like 400 then. 400 maybe.
Ultimately, it comes down to making content consistently. Consistency is probably the most important thing for new people. It's the most important thing for creators in general, but especially for new people, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to establish yourself on a platform, especially if nobody knows you from a can of paint. You got to go out there and consistently put out content each and every time out. Now, one of the questions I get frequently, well, Viper, what is the best upload frequency? Like, how often should I upload? Well, the answer is there is no set answer. It literally depends on your lifestyle.
Yeah.
How many times can you upload and do it consistently? Because again, it's not about how often you upload. It's about how consistent can you be with the choice that you make. If you can upload once a week, can you upload once every single week? If it's once every other week, can you consistently upload once every other week? But the answer literally depends on your lifestyle. But once you get that consistency out there and you are making content over and over and over again, the thing that I always say is be better than your last video. Because then you will be showing constant improvement as you are uploading on a consistent basis, and you will get better. I mean, if you go from video 1 to video 100, there will be a stark difference if you are focusing on making the differences that you need to make.
Oh yeah,
to be better from video to video. But when to answer your question about exposure, though, once you get that consistent frequency of uploading content, then it becomes about you getting your name and getting your presence out into the community. So let's use the water bottle example. So you're a water bottle creator. You review water bottles. Well, who else is doing it? Are there any like big time creators that are reviewing water bottles? Go be present and active in their communities, in their comment sections, in their live chats. Get your name out there. If there are questions that you can answer the questions. Being involved in other people's community will definitely grant you exposure. Now, some creators like to just stay in their own silo and they don't really like to interact with other creators in their communities. I mean, you can do that. And it's not going to be a good way to grow, but you can do that.
Yeah.
If you want to grow and get that exposure, since we're talking about exposure, if you want to get that exposure, you got to go be active in other creators' community, because that's probably one of the quickest ways to get exposure. Because if you are providing value to those other creators in their community, then that will make people curious about you and they will want to come check out your content and your channel.
You know, it's funny you use the word community, because that seems to be the main focus, no matter which part of this series I've been in. What's going on, Tony? I see you, man. I'm on part 8, right? From part 1 to now, somebody always brought up community. Yep. Isn't that incredible? They brought up basically talking to your peers, like people. If you're in the tech community, you're gonna have to say hello to somebody in the tech community. Yeah. You can't just want to sit alone and think. Now we've all seen it before. There's that person that came along and they just blew up for whatever reason. They just had it and they went to 100,000 subs in 2 years or a year or whatever. They just did it. It is like that sometimes. Some people get on and it just happens for them. They didn't have a trick or anything like that. They just did it and people watched and they like it. That's what it is. But that word community seems to come up every time. So both of y'all, do y'all think that that's probably the main way to get exposure, by communicating with the people in the genre that you're going to be in, like water bottles or hand sanitizer? And one thing you said, Viper, that's important is who's already doing it. Yep. Because see, some people, I know that we all do tech, but aren't you kind of tired of the people asking you how to get into tech? I get tired of it, because I keep telling them, dude, like Trent said, you're starting way at the back of the line. There's no more MKBHDs. There's no more iJustines. There's no more of these people. There's only one of them. Go be you. Yep. So in the interim of trying to make it and trying to get exposure, you got to create your own lane. Because I see a lot of people trying to mimic other people, and there's only one of those people. There's only one of each. You know what I'm saying? So I think that if my perspective on trying to get the exposure is I think one thing that's important that one of y'all might have said it or you might not have, but the time from which you started YouTube will determine a whole bunch whether or not you're actually going to get the exposure, depending on when you actually started doing YouTube. And we're talking about 2021. So people starting in 2021 have it a lot harder than when I started. They just have it like 100 times harder, because they got to meet requirements. They have to do it. Now, Trent, you didn't have to meet the requirements, right? Those thousands and 4,000. You didn't have to do that, right? It's 1,000 hours and 4,000. I don't know. Viper didn't have to do that either, I'm sure.
Yeah, I did.
You did? That was from 3 years ago?
Yeah.
I didn't know they
had to meet the requirements. I think.
Really? So if you're, when did they start that? We talked about this.
2018.
They started in 18.
2018, they changed the requirements. Yeah.
Oh wow! Because I talked about this every stream.
But now you're talking about, now you're having a different conversation though.
No, I know.
You're moving from exposure to monetization now. Just so you know.
No, it's not about being monetized. It's not about being monetized. It's the exposure. Depending on when you started, that will determine how much exposure you can actually get. Because again, when I started, it was a free game. Everybody, if someone saw your video, they saw your video. No one trained me on YouTube. Now they got all these classes and all this other stuff to help you get exposure. They are out there. There are plenty of people out there who sell content on how to be a better creator. The topic of how to become a good creator or how to grow your channel, that's one of the number one topics that are floating around that new people will gravitate to.
But what I'm saying is that there's no guideline to exposure. What you're talking about has nothing to do with exposure.
No. There's no guidelines to exposure. But I'm talking about, it does matter when you start. Because let's just say the person starts in tech in 2021. If they don't have some kind of special niche or something like that that's going to make them catch the eye of Flossie Carter or whoever is at some big conference, and they start recommending that person that goes all the way around the room, they're not going to be seen. It's not going to happen the same way it did before. That's going to be a different type of exposure. Because I've been at conferences with people like all your favorite creators. Some of them have no idea who I am, but they didn't look at me like, who is this guy? You know, they just thought, okay, this must be some guy he's here. So he must be somebody. You know, he's a creator here, even though I don't know him. But I personally believe, so you don't think that, and Trent, you can piggyback it too. So it sounds like in your response, you think that no matter when you start, you can take off, or, you know, the flight can go either way. You don't think that the people who started before have the advantage?
No, it's interesting that you bring this up, because I think you can argue either way. You can argue that when you started, you had it easier, or you can argue if somebody starts today, they have it a lot easier, because YouTube didn't know what the hell they were doing when you started, so you were in the wild, wild west. but on the flip side, that means you have to figure out how to make your own lane and pave your own way.
Yeah.
Today it's a lot more structured, a lot more streamlined, so a newer creator has it a lot easier in that way, because the road is already there. But there's a lot more cars on the road, though. So you didn't have as many cars.
There you go. Started. There you go.
But now there's a lot more cars on the road.
There you go, right there.
So
there's
you
a
can
whole
argue
bunch of cars on the road.
Either way, you can argue either way, to be honest.
You're right. There's a bunch of cars, and those cars he's talking about, obviously, is all the obstacles new YouTubers have to navigate around just to get their face out there. Trent, you think it matters? You think it matters that a person started in 2010 versus 2021? You think either one would get less exposure or more exposure depending on when they started?
To a certain degree, yes and no, but yes, it matters because of the trends, right? So, like, for example, if you were the guy that started a YouTube channel on Beanie Babies, right? Then you were the first to do it. People were searching Beanie Babies, or people were looking up content on Beanie Babies, and you started doing that back then. You have a leg up on anyone that decides to do Beanie Babies today, because the demand for Beanie Babies is pretty much gone. So there is a timing aspect to it, because on one hand, let's say you started a YouTube channel back in the day, and you started your YouTube channel doing something totally different, but you built it up to a point to where you built an audience. And then let's say as the times changed, as you transitioned, you kept some of your audience that you already built, and you gained a new audience, and you kind of carry that forward. So it's like, you know, that's a little bit better than trying to start today and, you know, and trying to blow up, right? Like, you know, over a long period of time, it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But on the flip side of that, when you start today, it's easy because you have all these tools. You have tag predictors, you have things that can write your descriptions, you have things that can help you guess your titles, you have all these different ways of making thumbnails. You don't have to be a Photoshop expert. The fact that your phone is as good today as a you know, straight up DSLR camera was 10 years ago makes it a lot easier. So the barrier to entry for equipment and all the professional stuff that you need is a lot cheaper than it was back then. So it's all about, you know, where you kind of lie and what obstacles you have to deal with. And like even today, even though that there's this roadmap, there's vidIQ, there's TubeBuddy, there's Morning Fame, there's coaches, there's other YouTubers, there's behind the scenes people telling you what they did to make it, people who wrote books and all that stuff, you still have to turn on the camera, you still have to record, you still have to put out videos. You're still somewhat at the beck and call of demand. Like, you can put out a video about an iPhone. I can put out a video about an iPhone. They could be the exact same quality, exact same length. They could be all these different things. But for whatever reason, your video could blow up and mine couldn't. We could have done every single thing right because we have all this information now that we didn't have before, but your video can still fail. So that's like the hard part that a lot of people don't understand. And to be honest, I love it when someone asks me, hey, how can I get into tech? Because most people when they're trying to get into tech, they're following the past, right? And they're not looking at the present. A lot of people will be like, well, hey, MKBHD did it this way, Super Saf did it this way, Soldier Knows Best did it this way, I Justine did it that way. And while that would have made sense back in 2011, 2010, it may not make sense for you in 2021 to try and do that today.
So I want you guys to piggyback. There's something going on in the comments right now. Vibe, go ahead and take this. They're talking about the notifications of YouTube. Is that a problem? Sorry, laughing. Right? A new person is complaining, saying, man, I was live and only 6 people showed up. And then people come into the stream and say, I didn't even know. Is that something that's going to hinder their exposure? Speaking just on the YouTube side, you think YouTube? I mean, YouTube's notification system used to be great. Tony Pazzo, I think, was the first to say this in the comments from what I saw. But is it that bad to where if a person is relying? Because some people, again, some people are just going to rely on YouTube. They're just going to do it. It's just how it is. They don't know that they can go outside of YouTube and tell people to go back to YouTube. I mean, some people just don't know. But we're talking about, in this aspect, a person who just doesn't know. And they literally need us to explain it to them. 1, 2, 3, ABC. But in that aspect, has YouTube done, and this is just a question based on this comment right here, has YouTube done enough with their notification system or the way they handle things to help YouTubers get exposed? Is YouTube doing enough to help YouTubers get the exposure?
In the terms of notifications, absolutely, positively not. Hell no. Listen. I got about 5,700 subscribers right now. When I go look into my analytics and figure out who has the bell on and who got notified that the video dropped, it's usually around 600 people out of 5,000. So, I mean, that is what it is. I was just talking to Roberto Blake about this the other day.
Shout out to Roberto Blake.
I was talking to Roberto Blake. Yep. He has over 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, and he was talking about how many notifications went out for one of his videos. 500.
Wow.
The man has 500,000. But
that's crazy.
500 notifications went out for the video. So YouTube notification system is broke. It's done. So this is what it goes back to what I was talking about earlier when I said that it really behooves us as creators to work together and not against each other because we can support each other. What I do is when I put out a new video, I tweet out a link and upload the thumbnail so the tweet can get visibility.
You was reading my mind, by the way. So that was my question for you now.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So I use Twitter to kind of promote my video when I upload. And then a few of my creator friends may retweet their tweet, things like that. So again, if you have good relationship with your fellow creators, then they may retweet your upload, and then that you can get more traction for your video that way.
Yes.
But it is definitely up to us as creators to get our videos more out there because YouTube ain't doing us no favors, especially not with the notifications.
So you definitely don't feel like YouTube is doing enough to help push creators to want to push forward and to want to, it's not really helping them get the exposure. They're just getting that 50-50 split on the revenue.
All right. So let's have a real talk about YouTube. And like I said, I talk to Roberto Blake almost every day. So, I mean, this is stuff that I just happen in the back of my head.
Oh, yeah.
So YouTube, the most views on YouTube come from the top 3% of creators or whatever, or the top 3% of creators on YouTube make up like 97% of the views or whatever. So YouTube doesn't give a monkey's nipple about the rest of the 97%. They could care less. We're all fighting for scraps compared to the top 3% of the platform because those are the ones that are bringing money and ad dollars to the platform. So the top 3%, they probably get all the YouTube special perks and things like that, while the rest of us have to fight for scraps. So if you want to make it on YouTube, it is literally up to you as an individual creator to do whatever it is that you can do to push your content out there. If that means you got to get help from other creators, or if you got to publish your content to multiple platforms to get that to get the exposure and visibility that way, then that's on you. It is not on YouTube because YouTube.
I'm not against that either. I agree with you on that. I'm not against that. I think as creators we should be working together more. But let's go ahead and be honest here. Not all creators want to work together. Not all creators want to work together, and that's why a new person has it really tough. They have it really tough if they're gonna reaching out to the community. And Trent, I want you to chime in here on that. But reaching out to the community, that seems to be the focus on all these series that I'm doing. Every part of this, someone brought up community, and I think that's probably the key thing because you heard the terminology: poor stay poor, rich stay rich. You've heard that kind of applies throughout the world, and it applies with YouTube, because how many times have you reached out to a creator to work together and they pretty much said, they didn't even respond? That happens probably all the time at some point to someone, and a new person reaching out, it's not going to happen. Trent, go ahead, man.
Yeah. So real quick, let me tackle the previous.
Yeah. Go ahead. Yeah, the previous YouTube.
About the notifications. I see both sides. So I see the side because I live it where, I got 6,500 subscribers or whatever, and then only X amount of subscribers get the notification and all that stuff. I get that part, but I also get the part that YouTube is going to do whatever is best for YouTube first, and they're going to do what's best for the audience second, and they're going to do what's best for the creator last. So when it comes to YouTube, you are literally dead last. And the only time that notifications really work is when your content is giving YouTube what it wants. So what does YouTube want? YouTube wants you to post content that is going to get people to either watch ads or get YouTube Premium or stay on YouTube, which is pretty much the thing. And the biggest thing that's going to happen is if you have a track record of your videos having high retention, high watch time, and high shareability, those three things, your notifications will get out to people. And I've noticed that because whenever I subscribe to, let's say, like I watch the guys in the forest that build the houses out of mud and stuff, right? I'm subscribed to them. And then let's say I'm subscribed to Technically T. I will watch Technically T and I will watch the Hut guys or whatever whenever I get a chance. Sometimes I don't get Technically T's notification that his video dropped until maybe 15 to 20 minutes later after the video actually dropped. With the Hut guys, I get the notification as soon as their video drops. And that's because YouTube said, hey, this big super channel is getting all this traffic, so we can make more money off of their video than we can make off of Technically T's video. And that's not me talking bad about Technically T. That's just the way that YouTube works.
Yeah.
And it kind of sucks that it has to work that way, but that's literally what YouTube is doing. Like if you take any other channel that's out there and they got all three of those metrics going, they're gonna beat out anyone else. Like YouTube's gonna be like, no. Why would we, show you the notifications on something that you might watch over something that we're gonna show you a notification over what you are going to watch? We know you're gonna click on it.
Yeah.
And the same thing happens on my own feed where I'm on YouTube, I'll watch stuff. YouTube for a whole month recommended me the same video every single day. And I did not click on it because I was like, okay, if I don't click on this video, eventually it's going to disappear. Eventually, I'm not going to see it. YouTube's going to figure out that I'm interested in something else. They kept showing me the exact same 15 million view video in my recommendations. And I'm just like, I have nothing to do with this. I'm watching tech. I'm watching cars. Why do I need to know about a panda in the middle of the world, in the middle of the wilderness, right? Kept on showing it to me. I finally gave in and just clicked on it, right? And then backed out. My entire recommended change. It was like, nope, you're watching this panda, that panda, this panda, that panda. And it's just like there's a certain thing behind YouTube doing that because, like I said, like YouTube, the algorithm's not a person. They don't really care about you. They care about what you can do for them and how much money you can make for them. Now, where the community aspect comes in and where a lot of creators kind of fight back against that is I'll use, for example, Dr. Disrespect. Dr. Disrespect came to YouTube, had a massive, he's a gamer.
Oh, okay.
He's
never heard of.
Yeah, like he's a gamer. He has a huge following. Millions of subscribers. This guy who has millions of subs streams on a schedule. He streams on a schedule because there's a possibility that with all the other gamers that are out there, that these notifications probably aren't going to go out. So when it comes to community, and let's say you stream every single day, or let's say you stream Monday, Wednesday, Friday, exactly at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and your community gets used to that, you're constantly going to have people come back and watch your videos. So at that point, you technically don't need the YouTube to do the notification thing. It would be nice if they did it correctly, but by investing in your community and having that schedule, they're going to stream. I know for example, I know that every Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Travis and Greg are going to do their stream on the GadgetCast pod on their podcast. I know every Monday, or usually every Monday, technically T is going to stream at like 9 or 9:30. I know that LaShawn, he's going to have his stream,
Friday.
On Friday
Vibes
at a
on Friday
specific
too.
time.
Yeah.
So that's where you get around the notification part. And essentially you could kind of do the same thing with your videos. It's hard because we all have lives. Some people have girlfriends, children, or whatever. But if you can get to that point to where you're uploading at a specific time, then that's where the benefit is. But I also understand where you can't always upload exactly at that time.
So Vibe, you touched on something else. It was my next conversation. You seem to be guessing this right before I can even do it. Thumbnails. You touched on thumbnails. So some people have heard me say, you know what, my videos are just getting so much more traffic now that I'm doing thumbnails. I never used to do thumbnails. I would just take a photo of the product. And some people still do this. They just take a photo of the product. They drop it on the front, and then that's it. For a person starting out, do you recommend that do you think doing thumbnails is really going to help them get more exposure? Like when you see a certain thumbnail, does it draw you in to, you might want to click on this? And so for a new person, you think that's beneficial and essential that they do thumbnails starting out, period? You think that's going to help draw some traffic to them, or does it not even matter?
Yes, but I want to address something real quick before
you. Yeah, go ahead.
Holla's your boy said that he's too small for anybody to work with him. I can categorically prove that is not true.
Nah.
I am as small as get, and y'all know my track record. I ain't got to go through it right now. Y'all know what I do. So there's no such thing as you being too small. Now, I've been criticized a lot in my YouTube career for reaching out to bigger creators, which is a bunch of nonsense, but we won't get to that either. But if you don't reach out, then how the hell are you going to work with people? Closed mouth don't get fed, people.
Community.
So if you want to work with somebody, reach out. I mean, I don't know why there's a taboo about reaching out to other creators or bigger creators or whatever. Y'all need to just ignore the noise. If you want to work with somebody, let them know. But here's the thing, though. As I tell you guys all the time, if you want to work with somebody and you reach out to a bigger creator, they're going to vet you. So you better make sure you have a body of work that meets standards for people that want to work with you. Otherwise, you might get ignored or it's not going to happen. But if you make good content, people will notice. I can say that much. Now about thumbnails. Absolutely, new creators should be doing thumbnails because at some point you need to learn how to do thumbnails anyway. I mean, that goes without saying. They are literally the first impression that people see before they click on your video. Now, here's the funny thing. Me personally, me being a viewer, I look more at a title than a thumbnail, to be honest with you. But thumbnails are definitely important because, again, I think new creators should start doing them ASAP just so you can get a style and a flow down with the thumbnails. And that's another thing that you can get better at gradually. The more you do it over and over and over again, your thumbnail can be better each and every time. And then you'll just develop a flow and a style that you like, and you'll know what is hitting and what's not hitting. But
so Viper, do thumbnails, did doing thumbnails help your traffic? Did it help people watch your videos more?
It depends. A little bit. I mean, it depends. It's funny because I think in my opinion, I think titles weigh a little bit more heavily than thumbnail, but that's not saying thumbnails are not important because they are. Yeah. But I think titles are much more eye-catching than thumbnails.
Okay, like I'm switching to iPhone today. I'm switching to, they hold it up and they make the crazy face. I'm switching to iPhone. Samsung
A lot of people make fun of the
iPhone.
YouTube face, but the YouTube face does numbers, bro. Like, y'all don't understand. The YouTube face does numbers. People click on it. So as long as y'all keep clicking on it, y'all gonna keep,
Yeah.
it.
Galaxy S21 user switches to iPhone.
Yeah.
That,
you know what it is. You know what's happening.
Yeah. Trent, thumbnails. You've been doing thumbnails for a minute, but do you think that thumbnails draw more traffic, or that's the first I've actually heard somebody say something about titles, and that's eclectic and that's different because, again, everybody's got their own perspective on what will draw traffic, and that is kind of true. Like, depending on how something is titled, like imagine that same thumbnail or that same video without the thumbnail. Galaxy S owner switches to iPhone, or without the thumbnail, will it really draw the traffic though? But the title or the thumbnail. Trent, did you see or have you seen, like, if you do, like, when you weren't doing those really nice thumbnails, did your traffic, was it dramatically different, or do you think the thumbnails helped you at all, or is it no, your titles are good enough, your work is good enough, or what does it take to get them to click on your video, or what did it take?
So there's two lanes to this. First lane, if you're completely brand new and you're trying to grow or trying to do whatever, people need to find your video more than it needs to look pretty. So, like, for example, you need, in my opinion, you need to prioritize search. A lot of people are lazy, right? So if let's say you got like 10 videos that show up in search, right? If 9 out of the 10 videos were all like, default thumbnails, most people are just going to click on the first video that shows up if it's search, right? So we're talking about people searching for videos. I kind of believe that the search ranking and where you show up in search does you more favors than the thumbnail. But on the flip side, I think thumbnails help out more in the sidebar. So, like, if you're already watching a video and let's say you're scrolling through the side to see what's, coming up, those are all recommended videos. So you just see title, thumbnail, title, thumbnail, title, thumbnail. So at that point, it's more about the title and the thumbnail, and that's where having a better thumbnail may grab someone's attention. Or if you're on the home page and you're already being recommended stuff. So, like, let's say you go to YouTube's homepage and you're not, quote unquote, searching for something, then the thumbnail, in my opinion, matters a little bit more. So it all depends on where you're at in your journey. Like, I used to not really do thumbnails or not really care about thumbnails. I mean, to be honest, I really don't care about thumbnails that much anyway. But I just do thumbnails good enough just to kind of fit in, right? But to me, search matters more to me, because when I look at my analytics, even though I'll have some videos that have, let's say, like a 4% click-through rate, which is like really, really low. And then I'll have other videos that have a high click-through rate, which is like 18%. Both of those videos could have the similar amount of views, because the way that people found that the most were through the tags. The only other time I've had it come out completely different is if I uploaded a YouTube video that was at the right time, YouTube lost its mind and sent it out to everybody, and then I have like a whole bunch of conflicting data. But if you're starting out, I would say find a way to make a half decent thumbnail within 5 or 10 minutes. Leave that thumbnail alone. Work on your title and work on your tags, because, like I said, when people go to search for stuff, when you're small, you're probably going to get more views through search than you're going to get through recommended or blowing up or anything crazy like that. Now, when you get to being a larger YouTuber, totally different landscape, totally different area, because you already have an audience to a certain degree. Tags don't even matter, because now you're getting so much watch time and so many views in the first hour that it's a completely different animal. Because if you actually take TubeBuddy and you go to some of these larger channels, like I've gone to Marquez's channel, he'll throw like 3 tags in there. Thumbnail will be on point, title will be on point, 3 tags. He already has an audience. Like, he already has people that's going to watch him no matter what. So why would he care about tags? He's going to show up and recommend it.
So let me jump in real quick, because I don't want you to say this YouTuber's name. Please don't, out of respect. But have you seen the video from certain YouTubers saying your tags don't matter? Have you seen those videos?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't say their name. And it's funny you brought up tags. First Viper was reading my mind. Now you read my mind. Tags in the search engine. So to those YouTubers that say your tags don't matter, they basically were kind of saying, well, that's the way I perceived it, is though no matter what you do, you won't get the watch time that you want because this party over here is getting all the watch time. Going back to what Viper was saying, you know, that the scraps, you know, we're fighting for the scraps, crabs in a barrel. You've heard that terminology before. The first clicks come from those people over here. So because there's creators out there that say your tags do, they've made videos, your tags do not matter. So it's all about perception, because there's a lot of new people out there that want to start a channel. They're just afraid to start it, or they're listening to the wrong advice. Well, I guess I shouldn't say wrong advice. They're getting too involved and emotionally connected to things instead of just kind of looking at it on the surface and then making their own choice. Because that's how people shop nowadays. They get them, they want something, they go to YouTube, they listen to what everybody else said, and then if that person says it's good, I'm going to buy it. If that person says it's bad, I won't buy it. That's how it works. So I personally feel like your tags absolutely matter, because if you're not tagging your videos, but again, Trent said the bigger you get, sometimes you see some of these videos with no tags, but they already have a following. So they have 100,000 views on every video or 1 million views on every video, but that's just because the notifications are on probably, and they have a following. So that schedule that you talked about earlier is in full effect. But if you haven't seen the videos, Viper, they're definitely out there. I would think they're still out there, but and good catch, Trent. Should you be tagging your videos to try to find its way through the search? Because in all honesty, that's what really counts, right? If people can search for iPhone 12 Pro Max, new purple color, you know, isn't that what matters the most?
So let's I have to start off by saying this, is that I hate what people call absolute advice, right? So absolute advice is saying tags don't matter, right? And you don't say anything else after that. You don't provide any examples. You don't go in depth to a specific situation. You are just simply saying that tags don't matter based off of whatever your experience is, and not looking at other people's stuff. At the same time, I can't come out and say that tags are 100% everything, because everyone's situation is different. So like, if someone came to me and they were like, should I be tagging my videos? I need more information. Are you in a niche that's highly competitive, right? So tech, for example, can be highly competitive if we're talking about iPhone. There are tons of people who are making, videos about iPhone, right? That's a very competitive thing, even though that it's highly requested and highly searched. But if you're making videos, let's say about Texas Instrument calculators, and there's not a whole bunch of people making videos about Texas Instrument calculators, and you have enough videos, you can probably get away without doing any tags, because there's not a lot of competition out there. Simply you having 10 videos based off of Texas Instrument calculators and having that in your title will probably put you ahead of anyone else that makes just a random video.
Contingent on people actually searching for that. You're saying the tags really don't matter,
right? So that's the thing. It's a nuance to that, right? There are nuances to everything. Like, I look at it like these things are tools, and these are things that help separate you from someone else. If you guys ever get bored one day, go look up lawn care videos, right?
I know they flood my feed.
Lawn care videos are literally the most, and this is not talking bad about a YouTuber. They are literally the most low effort thumbnails when it comes to YouTube videos. There are people that spend 1 to 2 hours crafting a thumbnail just so they can compete in their niche. Lawn care, you can pull out your phone and put up some weird yellow text on there, and that would be considered a decent thumbnail because people are there for the information. So it all depends on nuance. It all depends.
Well, you
on
just opened Pandora's
situation.
box. You just opened the box. Vipe, hit this first, Vipe, because I got to hear your thoughts on that, man. Trent opened the box up on that one. He said they're there for the content, the information. Woo.
Yeah, I mean,
or you can just go straight to that, Vipe, if you want to.
I mean, the thing is, YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world. So if somebody is looking for your video, they're probably looking for the answer to a question that they have in their minds. So tags absolutely matter. Besides, tags actually help the computer figure out where to or who to put your videos in front of. So this chat about tags doesn't matter. It's very inaccurate.
It is.
Again, we are talking about the world's second largest search engine. Absolutely, you should be tagging your videos as much as you can tag them and then some to help your video get in front of the right people, because that will also help you grow as a creator. If your videos are consistently getting in front of the right people, that is how you grow an audience. So yes, you should absolutely be tagging your videos. Yeah. Now, here's the thing, though. There's a bunch of other factors that go into it. And I think over the years, tags have decreased in importance as far as other things that are going on and what the algorithm looks at. But I still believe tags matter because, again, there's nothing wrong with giving the computer more information to figure out who to put your video in front of. If you can give the computer as much information as possible so it can correctly classify your video so it can find the right viewer, you are giving yourself an advantage that way over somebody who doesn't tag their video. So yes, definitely tag your video.
Oh, I like this comment right here. I haven't been putting up a lot of comments because I've got the stream showing the comments, but let's highlight this. Let's tackle this one, Vipe, right here.
Okay.
Shout out to El Jefe Reviews. He says tags matter, just not as much as the topic, title, or thumbnail.
Yep, I would agree. Again, tags are the thing about tags is that they are more for the computer. They don't really do much for the viewer because the viewer can't see the tag. Nope. The viewer doesn't know how you tag your video. So for the viewer, they could care less what you tag your video. The tags are for the computer to figure out where to put your videos at. But if you want somebody to actually click, then like El Jefe said, topic, title, thumbnail, those things are front facing, and those are the things that the viewers actually see, and they use those things to determine whether or not they're going to click on your video. So I absolutely agree with El Jefe.
Now, I want you to tackle this one, Viper. Shout out to my girl, Gigi. She says, if you're huge, they don't. But for us regular folks, she meaning people like probably this 50,000 50,000 or less. Yeah. Because I've actually seen some, and I want you to tackle that one because El Jefe there's no wrong. First of all, folks, thanks for joining. This is part 8. My man Vipe, my man Trent, everybody in the chat, I appreciate you joining in. Just to be clear, there's no wrong answers. There's no wrong answers. This is all about the perspective of the person saying this. So right here, you know exactly what she means, Vibe. You know, that separation in our community. Again, it's hard to leave that word out, the community. But I know what she means, but how do you feel? Like, isn't that kind of accurate, though? Because I've seen some videos where they have no tags with 8 million views on it. I'm like, whoa. But like El Jefe just said, what did he say? Title, you know what I'm saying? And the thumbnail, you know?
So here's the thing about that. Obviously, those creators have been on YouTube for a very long time. And at that point, they have probably consistently made the same types of videos over and over and over again for years. So if you've been making the same type of video consistently for years, at some point, the computer knows who to put your videos in front of. So maybe they don't need to tag because, again, they have an audience. Like Trenton was saying earlier, Marquez could bake a cake and people are going to watch it. That's a 1 million view video easily because it's Marquez. Yeah. But I think the more important thing, the scientific behind it, is that Marquez has been making tech videos for 10 years. At some point, the computer knows how to or who to put his videos in front of because he's made the same type of video for 10 years. The computer, remember, we're talking about a computer here. Computers are not dumb. They adjust to what's going on and what the information that they're getting is. So when you think about it that way, then Marquez, Justine, Jonathan Morrison, Austin Evans, Unboxed Theory, they don't need tags. they have like thousands of videos in the cave that the computer has analyzed, and they know who to put those videos in front of by now. So yeah, they don't need tags.
Yeah. So I want to shout out LFA before we get to this next one. Appreciate the super chat, sir. Yes, sir. Respect. There's a comment I wanted you guys to tackle. Where did it go? It's going pretty fast. I'll try to catch up back to it again. But there's some people asking where the broadcast is. This is being broadcast on Periscope and YouTube. Thank you, Gigi, for clarifying that. It is on YouTube and it is on Periscope, basically Twitter. We talked about earlier. Yeah, it's on both feeds. So there are some people in the chat that can't see certain things because you're on Periscope, and more people are on YouTube. So there's people watching on 2 different platforms at the same time. But yeah. So, DJ Mark was asking where the broadcast was. Yeah, it's broadcast on YouTube and it's being broadcast on Twitter. So, I think that I think we should, I don't want to use the terminology, we should be careful, because I heard somebody say that earlier, be careful. And they weren't using it in this terminology way I'm going to use it, but being careful, I mean, of how we present ourselves to the community, because I think that's one of the most important parts of this whole 10-part series. And I think that the community thing will always come back around as being important. Now, I want you to, I know you'll answer honestly, because this question is based on your own personal experience for you and Trent. And if you're in the comment section, man, leave a comment for these guys. Leave a comment, leave a question for them. We'll tackle them for you. Shoot these guys these questions. Shoot me a question, whatever you want to do. But I want to ask directly, is the community fair to new YouTubers?
Oh, wait, Trent.
I need more elaboration.
Oh, no problem. When new people coming on, are they treated fairly when they need help, when they need to get started, we're talking about new people starting a YouTube channel? Is the community fair and just to them like the community was to them when they got started? And Vipe made this point back earlier when he was talking about, like, when we were talking about starting out 2006 versus 2021. But is the community really genuinely fair to new people?
When you say community, are you talking about the creator community, or are you talking about
exactly?
Okay.
It doesn't matter the genre of the, it doesn't matter what field it is, but is the community really fair to new people? Because somebody, I think El Jefe told me on one other stream, or it might have been Easy Computer Solutions, one of those guys told me, Jay, you got to realize, man, most of these people, most subscribers don't even make it past 100 subscribers. So when you see creators excited about that, I think that was El Jefe. He said, man, that's a big feat for people today to get to 100 subscribers. And I said, I know, man, but is the community even fair? You know what I'm saying? To the new people.
Here's what I would say about that. We as creators, I mean, I'm speaking for myself, but I'm pretty sure I can speak for all of us. When I say that we as creators, we are very, very particular about who we lend our support to as far as fellow creators. And we're particular about it because we know how much work goes into what we do. The viewers don't know because they don't see everything that we do behind the scenes. They just see the video. But we who actually take this creator endeavor into our everyday lives and what we do, we know how much work goes into it. So here's the thing about, are we fair?
If you know what? Let me stop you right there. I'm glad you did that. I'm glad you just did what you just did. You said we. You didn't exclude yourself. I love when people do that because I don't exclude myself when I talk about the community. So props for you for doing that right off the rip. I do not like when people don't include themselves in the community. Go ahead. I'm glad you started like that.
Yeah. So here's what we do. If we got a new creator out there, I'm going to your YouTube channel. We are going to your YouTube channel. We are going to check and see how consistent you're uploading content, how long you've been doing it. We'll check out the content, the quality, but the quality is not as important as the consistency. Are you serious? Here's the main thing. We want to know, are you serious about content creation? Because at least to me, that's probably the most important thing I consider whether or not I'm going to help somebody in the community that's just starting out. I need to know, are you about this creative life? Because if you are not about this creative life, I am not wasting my time with you. So that's what I'm thinking about. Well, I would love to hear what you guys think about that, though.
Man, I was going to ask you, how long, go ahead, because I like that vibe. I got to piggyback real quick, though. How long does it take for you to actually recognize if a person is going to be for real about it. For me, I can find out within a matter of, man, just that first conversation with them. I can figure it out within that first conversation with them. If they keep talking about money, I'm like, you know what? They're not too serious about this, because I get that a lot. How can I make a bunch of money? And I'm like, you're not really serious about this if you're thinking about coming on getting rich. My bad, Trent. I know you get hyped. Like, go ahead.
So
the community being fair. There you go. To recap.
I know this is gonna rub some people around the way, but I would say no. I'd say we are not always fair.
Okay.
I
That's
believe
fair.
that there are times that we are fair, and I believe that there's other times we are not fair. And the reason why I include myself is because there used to be a time where at 2,500 subscribers, if somebody reached out to me and they were at like 10 subs or something like that, I would kind of look at the same way, like, I worked up to here, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, you're asking me about this, like, why are you even asking that question? And sometimes you have to sit there and realize that person that's at 10 subs, that person that was at 0 subs, that person that was at 100 subs, that was once you. That you were once a creator who had 10 subs, and you didn't know which way to go, and you didn't know the difference between up, down, left, right, or forward. Now, to Viper's point, it makes sense because, when you build a YouTube channel and you're investing your own energy, time, and money into it, that's an investment, and you don't want to have anyone waste your time, right? But I think that there are some people out there, by no fault of their own, but by their own experience, they feel as if they would be wasting their time if they took a chance on somebody. And there's been a couple of times where people have reached out to me in DMs on Twitter. That's usually like the number one place people can reach me, or sometimes it's in the comment section. And like, we're human. Every once in a while, you think, okay, you should know this. This should be common sense. But at the same time, with me working in IT and dealing with people who are computer illiterate to a certain degree, you can't always assume that it's a nefarious thing, or that, somebody's just pulling your chain. Sometimes people don't know. And there's been creators that I've helped out with, like, they were like, hey, how does this thumbnail look? And I'm like, the thumbnail could be better. Here, let me just throw this together for you real quick, just to give you an idea. You kind of run with that. Somebody might ask me a question like, look, just started my YouTube channel. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Does this really matter? Does this really make sense? And I'm just like, from my point of view, it doesn't make sense. You can get away with it. You'll be fine, because that one-on-one resource is very scarce when it comes to the YouTube community. It is very scarce, because you're either going to find it either by watching a YouTube video and like, okay, I watched this video, this is what I got to do, and go off of that. Or you're going to have to pay somebody money to do a one-on-one, because, obviously if you pay money, you're, respecting someone's time, but not everyone has a bunch of money. So sometimes as a creator, you just have to take a chance on somebody. Like, I've had people reach out to me before, and they asked me a question, they asked me advice. I told them, this is what it was, this is how it goes. And then, they just blew me off or whatever. But I kind of look at it like, okay, I wasted 28 seconds of my life typing in a reply. But then there's other people who I've talked to and I've met that other people wouldn't give them the time of day. We're the best of friends now. We talk all the time in Twitter DMs. And it's just like, I'm not at that level to where YouTube is my job, YouTube is my career. I still work a 9 to 5. So I understand where people have that frustration. So I try to make myself a little bit more accessible, but I understand where other people may not want to make them more accessible. If that makes sense.
Trent, I want you to this comment right here. Vibe, I want you to tell me how you feel about this comment, and then Trent, I got another comment that I want you to look at, and you both can piggyback these. But Vibe, how you feel about that comment right there? Michael Pepper says, "I'd say it depends on the community." Right there alone, he's got. You see it, Vibe. How you feel about it?
Well, this kind of goes to what I was saying earlier. When I go to your YouTube channel, I need to see that you are putting in the time and effort to be a successful creator. If you are, then I'm more likely to give you the time of day as if I go to your YouTube channel and you're posting sporadically, you're not really putting in the time and effort to grow. Then I'm like, I'm not going to waste my time if you're not going to put in the time and effort. So yeah, you definitely have to prove yourself, at least to me anyway. Because again, I know the time that we take. I know the time that we invest into doing this, and I know it takes hard work. So if I'm gonna reach out, if I'm gonna help somebody, I gotta feel like they are willing to put in the work. Because again, we all know this is a marathon, not a sprint. It's like you were saying earlier, Jay Will. If you talk to somebody and their whole goal is making money or getting rich, I'm not wasting my time. I'm like,
I'm moving.
We're not doing that.
Yeah.
But if you want to genuinely grow as a creator, and you wanna just build an audience in the community authentically and genuinely, I'm more apt to talk to you and help you. So that's just how I feel.
Now, Trent, you want to comment on this one real quick, and then I want to show both of y'all the next comment because I want to hear how you feel about this next one.
Let's see.
This is Michael Pepper talking about the community itself. You need to prove yourself.
Well, this is where I say you have to go into every interaction with an open mind, right? Yeah. Every new interaction is something completely brand new. If it has been your experience that you deal with people who are, hateful or trolls all the time, I understand where people don't want to talk to people. That is completely their right. They have absolutely 100% go for me not to talk to people. I get that. That's if you're dealing with trolls. I don't accept dealing with trolls or misinformation or whatnot. My thing is like I said, I just want to be open and I want to be available because that wasn't necessarily there for me when I first started off. Like, there's not many resources for I'm not gonna say resources. There's not many opportunities, right, for someone with 10 subs who does not know what they're doing to ask multiple questions. You might be able to get one question, which usually isn't enough, but you just can't strike up a conversation with a creator that's been doing it for a while and get like a one-on-one. That is rare. That is very rare. And I'm not trying to treat myself as this precious commodity or anything, but
no, I understand what you're saying.
Lived it. I went through the same thing where, like, just to roll back time. At some point, I think I was at like 50 subs. Didn't know what I was doing, uploading random stuff, just doing whatever in videos, and then I would go in people's comment sections and I would write a comment asking a question. I wouldn't get an answer, or I might get a fluff answer, like that, that auto-generated response that people do. Then I would go to Twitter and, sometimes some people would say, hey, my DMs are open. I DM somebody, I wouldn't get a response. And I'm just like, all right, cool. I understand you might be busy. Then I would publicly tag somebody on Twitter, and then I would get told, they're like, hey, you're not supposed to tag people on Twitter. Like, what's wrong with you? Hit them in the
Don't
DM.
get Vibe started on that one.
I didn't know. I'm not talking about people who spamming. Like, you just don't know. Yeah. And so when you do reach out to a creator and they do respond back to you and you're able to get that information and you're able to talk, AKA network, it's a beautiful thing between two parties, but the creator has to be open, and then the user or the other person has to be receptive to that knowledge. It has to go hand in hand. It has to be a two-way street. So to kind of, wrap this up in a pretty bow, if you come with that BS, I'm not on it. If you come with, a legitimate question, don't worry. I'm not going to look up your stuff on social. I'm going to take you at your word. I'm just going to give you the truth. Now, if you want further help from there, then I will probably deep in a little bit deeper. But if you're just asking a question, 9 times out of 10, I'll answer it and I won't care.
All right. So before we get to this next one right here, you can kind of see what that comment says right there. Do you know what? I want y'all to respond to the Vibe. How you feel about that comment? He's basically saying, it depends. You have to have some kind of relationship with the people, and that eventually will lead to verbatim. I think this is the Ish now. What's up, the Ish? I see you, man. Appreciate you joining in. He says, I think if you have been involved with multiple groups over your niche, that sometimes those relationships can actually lead to help. Some people are blessed more than others.
I feel like this is a shot at Viper. I feel like this is the person who shot at Viper. I feel like it's cool.
I'm just supposed to.
Oh man, I feel like my man fired a shot, but it's cool though. So here's the thing. Like I said earlier, closed mouth don't get fed, people.
That's true.
Y'all got these taboos and stigmas about reaching out to other creators, and I'm not having it. I'm not with it. Because here's the thing. Long before I became a YouTube creator, I was watching Marquez. I was watching Faulty Carter. I was watching I Just Thing. So now that I've been a creator for 3.5 years, I don't have an issue reaching out to them or whatever if I want them to have a chat. And usually if I'm reaching out to a creator, I'm just reaching out for them to have a chat with me. I'm not asking to be shouted out or nothing like that. I don't see the problem with asking for people to talk to you. I've been fortunate enough that most of these people have given me the time of day as far as having an actual conversation with me. More often than not, they are willing to, and that's all I ask for. But y'all got these stigmas and taboos about just reaching out. And I'm just like, why? What are you trying to protect your machismo? Like, what is this? Like, what are y'all doing?
I think that part. I remember some of them. They have to know who you are, but they might not have seen what was going on your Twitter back then. Like when people was, they was feeling like some type of way about certain things that was going on Twitter. But I don't technically use Twitter anymore. I just post my links for websites there. But I don't have a problem with building a relationship with creators. If I'm being completely honest, the only difference between me and Viper and his situation is that happened to him publicly online, and it happened behind closed doors with me. So I did the same thing you did. I just did it at events. You know what I mean? Like I would see a creator at an event, and I just walked up to him, was like, hey, you know what I'm saying? Hey man, I've been a fan of your work, and they didn't, since it was in person, it's actually probably was harder for you when you reached out online, because they're like, who's this guy? In person, it's a little different. So I understand that portion of it. It's difficult to get someone to talk to you over the internet. Everybody thinks that you want something or have a special agenda, because the reality is some people do have a hidden agenda, and we're never going to be able to avoid that conversation. But some people do have a hidden agenda. But I don't have a problem with asking a creator for help, or just, hey, would you please come on my stream? Or would you please be in my video as a cameo? When I did that over the internet, I got told no immediately or just ignored. But then when I saw some of these same people in person, hey, what's up, man? I just think timing is very important. You just happen to come along and grab the attention of all of these creators that have millions of subs, and they've been on your channel. We've seen it. They all have been on your streams. So I don't know why a person would hate on you for that, because really that's kind of the way I see it. It's a little bit of shade, because I couldn't, even if I didn't want to get MKBHD on my stream, I don't see I don't see why I would shade you for him coming onto your stream, because he came onto your stream and he also chatted with Trent. Trent made a video about him, and he chatted with him on it, and that video got Trent some exposure. He got some. Trent didn't have all the subs he has now back then, but that video helped. And I don't think he made it for that reason. You know what I mean? But even I called Marquez out on that. I was like, come on, man. You being a little far-fetched now. This phone is actually really good. But even though the whole world was saying, hey, Marquez, we disagree with you, it's just the way you do it. It's this thing called tact. Yeah. And when Trent made that, when Trent made that video, MKBHD responded. Was like, oh, I got you, I understand. And that was a good point in the community. That was a good part of the community. But you know, as far as people feeling some type of way about another creator, because I think that's a question I want you both of y'all to answer. Right, you can go first, I guess, if you want to, but why is it the community is divided? Because don't say it's not divided, because it clearly is. Why do you think the community is divided?
Now, when you say divided in what way?
Meaning some creators just don't talk to other creators. They just flat out don't do it. And let me give you my perspective on this, just in case you don't fully grasp what I'm trying to say is, I will talk to, and this goes back to what you're saying, and both of y'all said it. Y'all both said, you know, I'll give you a fair shake, man. I'll let you, you know, we can chop it up. But when I say the community is divided, there's this mindset, and to me, it's just a mindset, but it's partial reality. Small is a state of mind. I've always said that. Small is a state of mind. There are no small, because I look at a person and I say, man, you got that fire right there. You know, you got that it factor. I think you'll be great at YouTube. And they looking at me like, what? I only have 750. So what? That does not matter. You got that fire, son. If you get in front of the right people, you're gonna blow. Watch. It's gonna take off for you. But if a person doesn't believe that that's gonna happen, it's totally not gonna happen. Right. But the division in the community comes, I think, when people start to say the bigger. I saw someone post something on Twitter today talking about the bigger creators don't do something because of something. And I just feel like that's a state of mind. When people say to me, I've had people tell me, well, you're just a small creator, so I watch you because you don't have a whole bunch of the nonsense and stuff. I'm like, wait a minute, I'm not just a small creator. Just because I don't have 1.5 million subs, that doesn't mean that my point isn't valid or isn't strong enough to argue in this table. I'll sit at the table with a person with 10 million subs. They're no better than me.
Yep.
I think that state of mind is what holds a lot of people back. And so that is the division in the community. You got these group of people over here, and we know who they are. It's the people, it is a little bit of shade, but it's the people who get all the devices first, and then they say they're doing a full review. And okay, you've been using it for a month, you've been using it for 3 weeks. The embargo lifts, and boom, we got 100,000 videos from the same people. Let me put his comment. We got the same people posting all these reviews at the same time, and the community looks at this, which now getting to what Hefe said, you got the us and them. You say, like, how did we know how they got the devices, we know how they got the laptops, we know how they got the TVs, we know how they got this stuff. It was sent to them. That should not hinder their opinion on the quality of what they're doing. But that's where the us and them for me in the division kicks in, because you see these other creators, like Viper said earlier, some people don't know how much work it takes to do one single video. Eric from Easy Computer Solutions in here. Sometimes this dude work on videos for 10 days straight. I'm working on I've been working on one video for the last 8 days. And I'm working on it because I can't finish without this other piece of the puzzle. And I have to go in, I'm creating this stuff behind the scenes. But like Viper said earlier, some people just don't know what goes into it. And I think the big misconception is that some people don't work as hard as others. And so then they get the us versus them. Now, that is where I think the division comes in the community.
Okay. All right.
Because I always tell people, I met some of your favorite community creators in person. They are cool people. But a lot of your favorite creators, that's their job. This isn't my job. So they're hustling and grinding to get whatever it takes to get their bread to take care of their family and themselves. That's why I respect that side. But the division for me comes in when people continuously divide us based on numbers. Just because you have 10 million subs, that doesn't mean that you're a better creator than me. Right?
So, I got a quote for this one. Quote goes like this. You will never meet a hater doing better than you. Let me repeat that, people, for the people in the back. You will never meet a hater doing better than you. Because the people that are doing better than you don't have the time to hate on you because they're too busy being successful. So when you get this division that Jay Will was talking about in the community, it's usually from the people that are envious of you or somebody else, or they feel like they should have a certain spot or they should get something such, and they didn't get it for whatever reason. And they throwing shade, they throwing hate. They're just doing the thing that they're just bringing negativity for no reason. But again, you will never meet a hater doing better than you. So to a heavy point about the us versus them mentality or whatever, you got some creators in the community like Jay Will alluded to earlier that refuse. They won't even work with other creators. I mean, yeah, they have their own little clique that they talk to, but in terms of like reaching out and trying to work with bigger creators and things like that, they won't do it. They just refuse. I don't know if they feel like it's like an attack on their like machismo or whatever the hell you want to call it. I don't know, but they won't reach out. And then you get people like Viper who comes on and completely disrupt the flow of the whole community thing. And they hate on your boy because I'm out here reaching out to everybody because I don't give a damn. I'm reaching out to everybody. And they're like, who is this Viper cat? Why is he reaching out? Who is he to reach out to? I just Steve Marquette. Why are you Twittering I just Steve? Because I can't shut up. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing that. All right. Again, the other thing that these people don't realize, again, I was watching all of their videos before I became a creator. So they already knew who I was anyway, because I was in their comments in their live streams and things like that. But again, there is no problem as a smaller creator. And I love the way you frame this. It's a state of mind.
It is.
If you don't believe you're a small creator, then you're not a small creator. I might only have 5,000 subscribers on YouTube, but I am probably one of the biggest names in tech YouTube. So you can do with that information what you will. That's my mindset. And I just have to go out there and execute, and it is what it is. But again, if you don't allow yourself the chance to experience these opportunities and communicate with each other creators, you're not gonna get anywhere. You're gonna be, it's like being in a hamster wheel. You're gonna be forever jogging in place because you are afraid to go outside of your comfort zone, because that's probably really what it is. People do not want to go outside their comfort zone because it's comfortable. They're used to it. They don't like change. They fear it. They don't want to go out. They don't want to do anything that's out of their norm. Guess what? Nothing grows inside of your comfort zone. If you are not willing to go outside of your norm, if you're not willing to do things that you've never done before, then you will never get to places you've never been, because you're not willing to do things you've never done. Go ahead, Trenton.
Well, that was a lot.
Woo! Let's go, baby. Let's go.
So once again, I'm going to refer back to what I think is a problem with YouTube. I think it's a problem with tech and everything else. Nobody wants to meet in the middle. Nobody wants to meet in the middle. Nobody wants to sit down and both people have a discussion. It's either that us versus them mentality, which I never really got, but it's a thing. Like it happens in the world. But okay, I'll say this. If you're a creator and you don't want to work with anyone, that's completely on you. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people just want to go it solo. Other people, they want to make teams. They want to work with certain people. That's all fine. I think the focus should be more on you. Let's just say you reach out to someone, right? You reach out to someone and you want to work with that creator. That creator doesn't respond or they say no. Don't take it personal. We got too many people on the internet taking every single little thing personal. What you do is you cross off their name on the list and you move on to the next creator, right? And then let's say later on down the line, if such and such creator reaches back out to you, don't do the social media thing where it's like, oh, well, they reached out to me. I'm gonna be like, hey, remember that time that? No, don't do that. Just be like, hey, I see you got back to me. Do you still want to work together? If not, cool, whatever. If someone's nasty to you or whatever in the DM, you can either cuss them out in the DM and keep on going, or you can end that conversation, remember that conversation for the end of time. But I think we just focus too much on the wrong stuff. Like, people focus on trying to work with people that have no interest in working with them. And that could be for whatever reason. But stop focusing on stop trying to go after stuff that doesn't want you. Like, seriously, like, like if you chasing something that doesn't want you, then you only hurting yourself. You're not hurting them. And then even if you talk about them, it's just like they didn't want you anyway. Mm-hmm. If you talk about them, you think they're going to want you now? Like, stop chasing after those people.
Yeah.
And that's really the only way you can do it with it, because it's too many situations. There was one situation I had this personally where someone reached out to me, but I didn't respond because I had a family member that passed away. But I didn't want to tell the world. I didn't want everyone hitting me in the DMs, and it was just something that I had to personally deal with. But like, I was angry, I was frustrated, but I didn't want to lash out at the person. I didn't know how to respond, so I just didn't respond. I know that person probably thought that, hey, I was, a D bag or whatever for not responding. But that's where I'm saying, like, sometimes instead of going to these ridiculous extremes that we go to, it's us versus them. It's right versus wrong. It's big versus small. You have to be able to, sit back and just think about it logically and just don't always assume the worst. Unless the worst happens to you, just don't assume it. Not 90% of our reactions are from assumptions. And then when you actually talk to the person and you actually figured out what was going on, then you're like, oh, I feel stupid now. So that's when it comes to that creator part, that's where I'm just like, look, I just treat it like everything is just a new thing. And if you don't want to work with me, fine. I don't care. It's not going to break my heart. I reached out to you so we can figure out something. But if you don't want it, I don't want to chase you if you don't want it. Like, period.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that, unfortunately, with everything in life, there's always setbacks. And someone put it earlier, you have just got to go get yours. And, but at the same time, when you're going to get yours, you can help somebody else along the way. Mm-hmm. It's okay to reach your hand out back and help that person get up off the ground. I think that, I think Trent said it earlier. We all started at 0 subs. We all had 10 subs at one point or another. We had to have gone past that point. How we felt at that point, I don't remember how I felt, what I'm saying, back then. But I probably was happy, and I didn't think it was that many people. I knew there was people out there who didn't make it past 100 subs, but I didn't, I'm not really tracking that. I don't have any real analytics on that, but I'm sure it's a bunch of people. And the way YouTube had to do it is they had to create these rules. Like, I didn't know you had to do the 1,000 and 4,000 hours or whatever. I didn't know you had to do that. I didn't even know. I remember when that started, but I didn't know when it, I didn't know the exact year or whatever, but
right.
That's a good thing and a bad thing to a certain extent, because back then, remember all the troll accounts. That's why they're doing that. People were stealing everybody's work. They didn't have the tools they have now. Yeah. So YouTube is definitely doing some things right when it comes to protecting the creator to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But really, they're protecting themselves. Like Viper said earlier, they're protecting themselves. They're pretty much looking out for YouTube. And Trent said it. They're not going to move you up the search engine if you're not making them any money. And it's a business. It's a business. So YouTube were not on the part 7 for the financial, but you very well could have been, because obviously about making money on YouTube. So before we close out, I got to hear your take on this. What are, because we talked about, like, hinted on monetization. All this kind of does circle back around to monetization at some point or another, because if you want to be a creator, you want to be monetized. You don't want to work for free.
Right.
Why would you want to do this and get nothing in return? So again, we tackled finances in part 7, but I have to hear you guys' point of view on this, because I think it's important to hear from someone, real people. Now, it took me, I didn't know about monetization for the first 4 years of having a YouTube. Nobody told me back in 2006. Nobody said anything about monetization. You already know this already. You've heard this before. So it was probably 4 years before I even made any kind of funding on there. Do you guys remember when you first got monetized, how long it took you to get monetized? Was it 18 months? Was it a year? Was it 7 months? How long do you remember before? How long did it take you guys to get monetized?
Yeah. I met word for word. So I met the threshold in 7 months. So in 7 months from the time I started till the time I met the requirements, it was 7 months. Back then, it was taking YouTube forever to actually approve the channel. So even though I met the threshold within 7 months, I think it took another 2 before I got, I think it took another 2 before I actually got into the program. So 9 months total before I got my first, before I got actually into the program. So 9 months. Yeah.
Trent, how long did it take you to get monetized? Do you remember? Was it a year, 18 months, 6 months?
You mean how long did it take to meet the requirements, or
how long did it take you to
actually receive the monetization?
No, not the money. How long did it take you to actually get monetized? Where you got the letter back saying you're official? 6 months, a year. Viper's on the fast side because Gigi took her 7 months too. That's quick right there to get monetized in 7 months.
I think it was closer to a year and a half.
Yeah. I think El Jefe was 18 months too. I think he said his was 18. Mike was 18 months, I believe. There might have been between a year and a half and 2 years. That's why I think a lot of people end up doing it. But 6-7 months, that's quick. Viper's the only other person besides Gigi that I know made it that quick.
That's because we live stream, and live stream to tolerate everything.
That's what Gigi. You know what? Gigi was giving tips and tricks and things. She said, new people, the best thing you can do is live stream. That's gonna get you there so quick.
Yep.
And it's unreal. And back then I didn't have the tips and tricks. I didn't have any of this help right here. I didn't know anything about it. Was different back in 06, obviously, but there was just no people helping. You know what I'm saying? Like, it just wasn't like this. I didn't have the tools. So piggybacking that, how long did it take you to actually make your first payday? Because you can get monetized, but how long did it take you, Vibe, to get your first payday? And Trent, you can piggyback that too. Do you remember? Because that was a long time ago.
After I got approved, after I met the threshold, it was another 6 months because they were doing this was right after, I think, like the adpocalypse or whatever and all that stuff. But they had to go in and manually review the channel. And so it when I got the monetization, I was happy, but then you have to wait for AdSense and Google. You have to fill out all that paperwork. Then they have to send you a pen in the mail and like in this envelope. And so that was
that's the new way. I ain't never heard of that before, I guess.
Right. That was on the back. That was on the back end of being approved. I still had to wait all this. It took so long for me to get monetized that I forgot about monetization. I was just like, all right, whatever. They'll get to me whenever they get to me. I will just upload random videos of me yelling into this camera because I've got nothing else better to do since I bought all this stuff.
Viper, you remember how long it was before? Look at Gigi's situation. See, y'all are in a unique situation. 7 months approved within 24 hours. She got a check after a month. That's quick.
I think it took me 3 months after because I wasn't doing live streams on a regular basis. So I was only making like $40-$50 a pop. So and you have to make $99 before. I think you have to make $100 before they actually issue a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I think I had to wait 3 months before I got to issue my first paycheck.
Now, how long after did you start your live stream channel? So if you don't know, Vibe has 2 channels. I don't know if you made a decision to split them off like that, but he has one where it's just live. It's just live, strict live. That's it, Vibe Nation Live. How long before you decided to switch that over to doing, I'm going to put my live streams over here so I can just focus solely on live? How long before you decided to make 2 channels?
I think it was a year after I started my YouTube channel. I used to do 8-hour-long live streams on the main channel with regular tech content.
I remember.
It was a disaster. It was an absolute disaster to the channel growth. So
I remember.
Back in the day when we were, John Proctor found out that doing live streams were kind of stunning to growth. Yeah. So at that point, I think it was about a year and a half after I started YouTube, I made the decision to make a separate channel only for live streams.
Yeah, that's a pretty quick. Again, you and Gigi are the only ones I know with that really fast growth like that. Even getting your next check, you did it basically within 18 months. Really, you were getting paid quickly, and most people, it just doesn't happen like that. You know, it takes them at least 2 years to even see that first $100. But that's pretty quick, man. That is.
Yeah, Gigi, don't put some long nights.
Really fast, right? Yeah, man. I mean, I think that if any new person coming on, I think you should always be open to hear from people who have been walking down this road you're just not getting on. And
we haven't asked you any questions. I want to ask you some questions, bro.
Word
here. Let's do this.
Let's do it.
You started back in 2006. Obviously,
right.
we're 15 years later. So you've been on YouTube pretty much since the beginning.
Yeah.
So, in your opinion, how has YouTube changed from the time that you started to what we see now on the platform? How has the platform changed since you first started?
Like Trent said earlier, some people might be offended, but I gotta say it. I'm a straight shooter. I don't want to sugarcoat nothing. I think the content creators of today lack talent. I think there's a lot of creators.
Man, damn.
Because I like people from the original Pocket Now crew. I love them. I love just to create the. It seemed like I think BG Tech Life said it before. The passion is there. You'll succeed, or you'll get what you want out of it. And I think a lot of creators today, unfortunately, and that's not like a direct attack. It just means that so many people are chasing money first and trying to get famous first, and they have all these other people doing the work for them, that they're not actually passionate about what they're doing. So don't take it as I'm saying people just lack talent. I'm saying since day one, Vite, let me tell you something. I haven't joined any multi-channel networks. All my editing, every creation, everything you see has been done by me only. And yes, I've gotten some deals along the way, but it just kind of happened. Like BG Tech's like the passion, I'm doing something that I actually like. So when I say the talent today is different than the talent from yesterday, it's not that they technically don't have talent. They lack the drive because depending on what your generation is, some people just want it now. And they don't want to put in the work. They just want to be famous. And that, to me, I look at YouTube as a fun place. I've always told people, when I stop having fun, I'm not giving no resignation. I'm stopping, son, and I'm going to move on to something else. Right now, after all this time, I'm still having fun. So that's why I'm still doing it. But YouTube has changed a lot since when I first started. Now, granted, when I first started, I wasn't that serious for the first 2 to 3 years. But once I did get serious about it, I realized this could be lucrative for one, and I don't want to be in the red forever. So I better make some changes. And I think the people of yesteryear just had more personality. I think a lot of people we see on YouTube now, the fact that they are getting everything for free and companies are recognizing, wait a minute, I don't have to pay $500,000 for a 1-minute ad when I can give this product to a YouTuber and they're guaranteed to pump it up for me because they know that I'll send them another one if they just speak highly of my product.
Okay, let me stop you right there. So let's talk about this whole for free thing, because I got a whole theory about it. But I want to get your thoughts on this because you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
I tell people, Jay, nothing is for free.
I know.
Okay? Nothing is for free. Companies send the product, it's not for free. They expect us to make content. Can you please elaborate on that? Because a lot of people are like, oh, you got that product for free. You can't argue. No. It's not for free.
That's why I always do this for free, because it's technically not free. You have to, either you're going to give your soul up or you're going to have your integrity and not get very many free products. And so when a company sends you a product for review, it is your sole responsibility, because it doesn't matter if you have 50 subs or 50,000 subs. You now have a voice for that particular product. And people are going to either buy into whatever you say, or they're going to be like, you know what, this guy's a fraud or this lady's a fraud. When you get a free product, there's a whole bunch of stipulations that come behind that. Now, I will tell you this. If you are a creator, you're probably going to have to work for free for quite some time, depending on how good your content is. Like when you're talking about numbers and views and things like that, if you can drive the traffic like Trent was talking about earlier, you can definitely request, I'm not working for free. I'm going to need $1,000 per video. I'm going to need $500 per video. But those free items out there, they come with a price, because eventually you are going to have to decide, am I going to be truthful behind this product so I can get another one from the company, or I'm going to tell the truth and just run on that, especially if they didn't pay me. So I don't suggest that anybody works for free, like meaning you don't get compensated in any type of way for your work. If you're a new creator, you're probably going to have to. Like someone said earlier, you got to, like you said earlier, you got to show me you're serious about this. So a company will take a chance on you and send you a product. If you just review the product and just give it to it straight like that, I mean, I'm not making it up when I say the people in yesteryear, I think their videos they had more substance than current day, because today, I think El Jefe said it earlier, it just seems like I'm watching a commercial. I can read the specs on this right here, or just go over what they told me in the announcement. I don't need you to do that all over again. And then you're just a spokesman for the company. And I think those free products out there, if you get one, folks, if you ever get the opportunity to review a product, you know what? First, you need to, hey, it's not going to hurt. It doesn't matter if you have 200 subs. Tell them, hey, what's your budget behind this project? And if they hear you talking like that from the start, they're like, wait a minute, this cat got 200 subs. He's already talking about a budget. He's not stupid. He's not going to let us use him for this free promotion and then get him or her looped into this thing about, I send you a product, you keep it for free. Ooh, you get the free product. And I just keep sending them to you as long as you're saying something good. That's not how product reviews work. So there are a lot of creators out there that get free products, and some of them are getting financial gain from it. But I said it when I was talking about this with Easy in another video. You are supposed to be telling your consumers, you check that box down there, say this is a paid promotion. But that, in fact, should not deter you from telling the truth. You should always have integrity when you're doing a product review.
Yeah.
You know, some creators gravitate towards one brand, and that's, you see them, that's all they're reviewing is that one brand. It's okay, they got to deal with this brand, but you still can tell the truth. It should not take a hit at your integrity, and you shouldn't just do the free products just to get another free product. You should be doing it because you want to do it, not because you're getting a check to do it.
So here's the thing about that. I love how you think they should be telling.
Let me jump in real quick on the free thing.
Go ahead, bro.
So I agree with the point of, you know, nothing is for free. However, there is a difference when you did not pay for something. So I think people need to, instead of saying you got this for free, there needs to be that line of, I did not pay for this item. So the reason why that's important is because even though, yes, you have an audience, and yes, the company expects to get some sort of return out of leveraging your audience, you as the creator are still benefiting from the fact that you did not have to pay for this, right? Like, so for example, this is a Sony A7C and a lens. This is something that it took me a while to purchase that with my own money. Generally, anything that you purchase with your own money, you have to go to work and you put those hours in, you save up that money to buy something. Generally, you will be far more critical. You will be a little bit more wary of what you're throwing your money at, right? As opposed to if you received a product and you did not have to pay money for that product, it is possible. I'm not saying that everyone does this. I'm saying it's possible for you as a creator, because I've been there. You can feel like, you know, this is an opportunity that everybody doesn't get, right? So sometimes that can sway your objectivity when it comes to something. Like if I told somebody to go out right now, go buy this camera and this lens for $3,500, it's the greatest thing on earth, I bought it with my own money, people relate to that a lot more, as opposed to if you're a reviewer, a company gives you a product, even if you have to send it back, what did you really have to give up for that? Now, sure, you definitely deserve your time, your money, your energy for what you put into the video. But for you to even get your hands on this, right? That's where a lot of the pushback comes. And like I said, people are saying it wrong. They're saying you got it for free. You didn't get it for free. They're saying that you did not pay money for this item. And sometimes people notice a disparity between content, just like people said earlier about the embargo reviews. They feel like commercials. The thing that, and I know we were talking about this earlier about how tech and how YouTube has changed. It seemed like content was different when everyone got the product day one. Everyone had to pre-order it. Everyone had to put up money and buy it. Now, was it more exclusive? Yeah, because you needed to have the money. like, I appreciate the fact that Team Pixel is around. I appreciate the fact that TCL is around and they send out stuff and you don't have to buy it to smaller creators. I'm not discounting that. But there's definitely a line when you have to pay for something, and it's just like, when you have to pay for something and you have to live with that thing, right? You have a different mindset than if, Xbox said, "Hey, we're sending you out the new controller. Tell us what you think." Well, I can tell you what you think, but I'm not putting up the money, so that separates you from that consumer audience, and that's what kind of, I'm not going to say drive people crazy, but that's where some of that frustration comes from. So,
to me, what you're describing is influencer versus actual reviewer. And so that's why when I see a bunch of videos pop up at the same time, I just look at it as this person's just going to repeat what they just said in this announcement. And that's actually what happens almost all the time. I don't really see an actual review. I see an overview. So, but for me, where I stand, and Vibe, I'm sure you have a response to this, but from where I sit, from all the time I've been doing YouTube reviews, it doesn't matter whether I pay for it or not, because even though I've paid for nearly everything on my channel, I do get reviews. I do get some of us are all getting the same thing. We all got TCL stuff. I didn't praise those devices. I think I shot it as straight as I could shoot it. They're actually good phones, but they're not the best. But one is better than this phone, or one is better than that phone. I just think that once you get to a certain point on YouTube, you should be able to review a product whether it was sent to you or not. I think you should have the same level of being able to check this product out for 3 to 6 months or however long you want to use it, whether you pay for it or not. But I agree that with Trent, when he says that's separate, that's where people get that separation, because they start to get, I think people need to be able to differentiate what an influencer is and an actual reviewer is. I don't think a lot of people online right now are actually reviewers. I think they're just influencers, and they give an overview of a product and they move on to the next. Now, to their defense, it could be that they definitely have like 300,000 boxes sitting outside their door, and I don't. I have maybe 100. They could have 1,000. You know what I mean? They have way more responsibility, and okay, they have a short window to get to all these products because it is their job. Yeah, it's their job. This is their livelihood. They're taking care of their family with this money. So I still think you should be able to review a product, whether it was sent to you and you didn't pay for it, or you paid for it. And I think that if you, as a creator, not any one person, but if a creator can't do a review wholeheartedly and honestly with all the integrity and objectiveness that they can get, they shouldn't be doing reviews, because the money part should not affect your review at all.
All right, so let's dig into the whole integrity thing. I think some people, they conflate negativity with being real and honest. And some people are just negative for the sake of being negative.
Yeah.
And it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You can absolutely have a product sent to you and do a review and have your integrity intact and give the pros and the cons.
Yep.
The thing about it is, it's all about tact and how you do it.
Boy, you know what, Vite? I told somebody that they thought I was crazy.
No, let me keep going with this.
Yeah.
So constructive criticism is the thing, right? The TCL, like Jason said, we all got the TCL phones. I have all three of them sitting somewhere. I haven't done a video on them, but I'll tell you this. When I use portrait mode on the TCL 20 Pro, the portrait mode can use work.
Of course.
But when I do the video, I'm going to say that, look at the portrait mode. You see those edges? They're not detecting edges very well. That is constructive criticism. I'm not saying they're trash. I'm just
saying people want you to do. That's what people want you to do.
Right. They think that if you don't bash something, then you're not being honest. But I can completely be honest with you. The portrait mode needs work, and this is kind of concerning to me because I've been talking about this I talked about this last year. The portrait mode on the phone last year needed work, and they need work again this year. But again, I don't have to be overtly negative about it. I'm just telling you that the portrait mode edges don't come out that good, and they can use work. That is constructive criticism. Y'all see how I did that? Constructive criticism, tact, finesse, and still being completely honest about how I feel about the phone. Like Jay said, they're good phones, but they are definitely not the best phones And the point code is definitely not the best.
Nope.
But that is something that CTO can go back and take to their lab and their team and work with. They can't work with, look at this picture of trash. That's going to, they should never release that. What is CTO going to do with that? That is just being negative for the sake of being negative, and that doesn't help anybody. And it doesn't help you as a creator. I think, like I said, I think some people conflate negativity with being real and authentic. No, you can be completely real and authentic and keep your integrity by providing constructive criticism and having finesse and using tact.
That's correct.
There it is.
That's correct. That's correct. That's right on point. Like Eric said right here, you can do a real review on a product that's sent to you for free, no matter what. That's totally true. But I think what we run into is people are getting units, and you can tell, like Trent was saying earlier, you can kind of tell the division there when somebody's genuinely wanting to review this product and give their honest opinion without the fear of, if I say what I really want to say, they're not going to send me another one. Now, I think we all can sit on this panel and agree that there are a ton of reviewers out there that are like that. They only say pretty much positive things about certain companies, and then every other company is trash. Every other company just can't meet the requirements of any user. I just don't think that's realistic. And I on this channel tell people you need to be able to differentiate what's real and what's not. And you can tell when somebody's being authentic or they're not being authentic, or you can tell when I try to tell new creators, get paid for your work. Why do you want to work for free? If this is your job, get you a manager or do a good job managing yourself. You don't want to just keep doing all these, getting these, like Trent was saying, these free products. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as a free product. And both of you guys did a great job tackling that conversation, because it's one that can go spiral out of control. But the reality is there are no such thing as free products. It just doesn't happen. Those companies, they want something from you. They want you to help them market that product. And so then when you as the creator, you got to be strong enough to market that product and not sell out. There's no other way to say it. You cannot sell out when you get a product in for review if you didn't pay for it. Yep. You just can't do it, because if you do, that's going to be the leading point of your channel, and people are going to know, man, this guy right here, I can't really trust this person. You can tell everything. Yep. Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes, integrity, trust, all in the same. You have to be able to let your followers know on YouTube that, or just wherever you are, Twitch, Facebook Live, Amazon Live, whatever it is, you have to know, you have to put it out there that I'm being honest, period. That's just what it is. That's what it is. So I'm gonna let you guys close out. Wow, I didn't even know we were going that long. I could have kept going, but I'm loving live streaming again, man. I'm getting back in it. Part 8 off the charts, folks. I told you this is gonna be good. So we got Trent up top, we got Vipe up top. I'll let you guys tell everybody where you guys can be found on social media, your channels, whatever. I'll link their channels after this is done. I'll link their channels down below in their feeds. But go ahead and shout them out, folks.
You can find me on YouTube, Trent's Tech. And you can also find me on Twitter, same thing, Trent's Tech. So you can find me those two places. I'm on Instagram, but to be honest, I really don't check Instagram enough for you guys to even care. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at.
Bye.
Bruh. Listen, people, you know where to find Viper by now. But just in case you don't know where to find Viper, just type in Viper as it's spelled out here, and you will find me on YouTube, Twitter, all the things. Cool fact. I host a Clubhouse room every morning called Coffee Talk. And a lot of new creators come in that room and they ask YouTube questions or other questions and things like that. Trent joins the room from time to time. So if you guys want to come chat with Viper every morning, I host a Coffee Talk room. I host a Clubhouse room called Coffee Talk, 10 a.m. Eastern every weekday morning. Definitely come check me out. If you want to talk to me directly, I'm on Clubhouse every day. Also, you can hit my Twitter, and I tell you all at the end of every video, hit my Twitter. We good. We out of here.
And Trent streams on Viper. You stream on Fridays, right? You got Friday night, every Friday. And Trent, you host the room on Clubhouse, but are you going to start doing that regularly, or what are you going to do? Are you going to do time in a day? Because I've stumbled up in there, folks, off the charts. Crazy room, straight up real talk in there. Good. That room is off the charts. You going to set a time for it coming up, or are you going to try to muscle that into your schedule?
So right now I just kind of hold like a private room, because there's just things that I talk with certain creators that doesn't need to be everybody else's business. And
right.
Let's just say that some conversations will, get me canceled because people are not allowed to have opinions on the internet. So
yeah,
that specific room is just kind of just like, it's a private thing. I have no plans on making that public. Would I do my own public room? I probably would. It'd be a little bit more structured. It'd be a lot less, cursing and stuff like that, more family friendly. So yeah, it's just, that's my vent room. Like anytime that I'm just like, so sometimes when you just need a vent and you don't necessarily need the world to know about it, that's my time where I go to vent.
Yeah.
And
You should start a room though, man. I think it'll be based off of that room. That's a small room too, folks. It's definitely not a lot of it, and it shouldn't be a lot of people in there, but the conversation that goes on in that room is fantastic. It's not it's legit. And unfortunately, like he said, sometimes people don't, I've always said that people don't want the truth, they want to be entertained. And so and I'm talking about that in social media, people in YouTube, they don't want the truth, they want to be entertained. And so that comes first. But if he does start a room, I'll be the one to tell you about it. I know Vipes, everybody knows Vipes room on Clubhouse. But I'm streaming every Monday at 7:30 Central Standard Time PM right now. And then my new streams are now on Tuesday at 2 p.m. with my Project 13. So start looking for those. I'll see you tomorrow if you're gonna make it in. Tuesdays, it's tons of people in there in the middle of the day for some reason. It's supposed to be at work, and they're in that stream at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. But I will see you there at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time tomorrow. We will keep this ball rolling, man. Special shout out and thank you to these fellas right here for taking time. Vipe, I appreciate they like Viper was saying, you guys don't know literally how soon was it, Vipe? Like an hour? I gave you an hour and a half. I hit you up, I think, was it?
Yep.
Maybe an hour and a half or something like that too. I don't even know. I know it was close. Yeah. And I was like, whoa. When he responded, I was like, wow, okay. I needed another panel member. And so for this, because not very many people can talk about this if they don't use other platforms. And I knew these gentlemen, whether they use the other platforms for exposure or not, they are creating exposure and they're getting it out there for themselves and people know who they are. So, I mean, talk about the community. I hit him up. Like I hit Trent up, gave him like at least 24 hours notice. I believe I did. But Vite was like straight up 2 hours for the stream. I'm like, oh man, thank you. Just like that. You know what I'm saying? And that's just how it is sometimes, man. The community come through for you. If they really, people make time for what they want. How about that? Depending on how old you are, you've heard that before. People make time for what they want. And that applies to your family, whatever it is. People make time for what they want.
Oh,
these two gentlemen.
I will say though, if you're female to be on stream, y'all better get them at least 24 hours notice, because if you don't give them 24 hours,
I know.
It's not happening, bro. I'm telling y'all, it's not happening.
I know. I hit Viper up because I said, you know what, he streams on Friday. Man, he don't stream on Mondays. Let me hit him just in case. And it worked out. But you do want to give people enough. Normally I give people a week, but I had some changes happen. I was like, God dog it. I said, I got to fix this. And I need two people to fit. I don't just want to have anybody. If you notice the rotation of these streams, I'm not just having anybody on. I'm having people for the subject matter. That's what I want to do, because these streams, people actually watch these streams and ask a lot. They DM me the questions though. Like it's like they're afraid to ask in the comments. I know you all get that. Like they send you DMs instead of asking on the video. You're like, wait a minute, well, I didn't want everybody to read this. I'm like, oh man, you got to loosen up. You got to get out there. If you plan on being a YouTuber, you got to get some thick skin. And you got to loosen up and get out in front of that camera.
Ain't that the truth? But yo, shout out to you for having me on, man. I appreciate you.
Oh no, yeah, man. I'm glad to link up. We haven't linked up. Me and Viper haven't linked up on a stream in 2 years, folks. Can you believe that?
It's been a while.
It's been 2 years. I think I jumped on his stream 2 years ago. But nonetheless, I appreciate you guys. Part 9 is gonna be. I say that every week, don't I? But part 9 is just getting better and better and better and better. Part 9 will be good for you guys, man. I think you'll really be entertained by part 9. And then part 10, the finale. For now, part 10 is the finale. A lot of creators are saying, Jay, keep this ball rolling, because how could you end it? I know. It can go on and on and on. But part 9 is coming up next Monday. I appreciate you guys, man. Viper, man, big shout out for coming on. Trent, you already know. I appreciate you guys coming on. And I will see you guys next Monday. Join me tomorrow, though. Tomorrow, I will be on. Tomorrow at Tuesdays. Remember, Tuesdays, 2 p.m. I'll see you there, man. El Jefe, I see you, man. What's going on? All the people that came into this, all the super chats, I appreciate you guys, man. Everybody who came into the stream, man, I thank you. I guess that's about all I can tell you is I appreciate you. How about that? I'll see y'all on the next one.